And now I want to talk about the ProPublica tax leak, right? The ProPublica tax leak is one of the biggest, microphone almost fell. One of the biggest data, I wouldn't even say data breaches, because it's not really even a data breach. It's more of a leak of information, the biggest that we've ever seen in regarding tax and how tax policy works, specifically for the most wealthy individuals. So, ProPublica got its hands on tax documents, full, complete tax documents from 2006 to 2018 of 25 of the richest people, not only in America, but on Earth. And it displays the most grotesque and disgusting tax evasion that's completely legal. It displays how the tax code in America and the way people can hide and move money in order to not pay federal income tax is way too easy if you have a couple $1 billion. Now, ProPublica verified the documents by comparing what is available in the public domain that checked out, and then they reached out to all 25 people in the report and presented them with the information that they have. And nobody denied anything. The majority of them didn't respond. And of the ones who did respond, they would respond with like a bullshit statement like, I've paid my fair share in taxes, I pay what I owe, this and that, right? So somebody at the IRS or close to the IRS, we don't know who, leaked all of this info to ProPublica. And apparently they've had it for months, and they've been sifting through it and putting together reports and stories and ledgers and analysis. And they say that in the next couple of months, they're going to keep releasing newer information and more stories about just how our richest people can avoid taxes. Now, in the first bit that they released the other day, I think it was the 8th. So it starts out by saying in 2007, Jeff Bezos didn't pay a penny in federal income tax, and he did it again in 2018. Then it talks about how in 2018, Elon Musk did the same thing. Michael Bloomberg has done the same thing. Carl Icahn did it twice. George Soros paid no federal income tax 3 years in a row. It goes through all of these things. And then it goes into like a little history of income tax and this and that, and the tax rate that's supposed to be for the most wealthy, which is 37%. And they also bring up the term true tax rate, because they did the math on what the actual tax rate would be if these people were actually paying taxes fairly. So I want to start with, how can someone just not pay federal income tax? Well, it's actually pretty simple. These people have investments, and they have properties, and they have stock, right? They have assets. If they pay themselves a salary from the company that they run, and usually they pay themselves a salary relatively small, like a normal middle-class family would get, like a $60,000 or $70,000 salary in order to keep their income tax low as it is. If an investment loses value, or an asset loses value, to less than what they make as a, quote, salary, they claim it as a loss, so they don't pay any federal income tax. But at the same time, their company's stock prices skyrocket and triple and quadruple. And then they can use those stocks and other assets as leverage and collateral to get mega loans from mega banks to make more investments and buy more property. And the cycle continues and goes on and on and on and on and on. Right? Let's see. it shows how the way we tax stocks is fucked, because you don't pay tax on stocks until you sell those stocks. Well, the mega billionaires own so much stock in their company, and they're never going to sell it. And the stock keeps going up and up and up. Like Amazon stock is over 2,000. I don't even know what is right now an Amazon stock worth. Let's just look, shall we? Let's just take a gander. Let's see, Amazon. Okay. Right now in Amazon stock, it's down today, $11. Right now in Amazon stock is $3,338 as of 1:30 on June 11th. And if Jeff Bezos owns, let's see, how many stocks are, I don't even know if, I don't think I can figure that out on the fly. So Jeff Bezos owns a majority of the stocks, right? Which is, we know, trillions of dollars, okay? He uses those stocks as collateral in investment deals and loans and stuff like that I've already said. Well, he doesn't have to pay money on those stocks because he didn't sell the stocks yet. So that's avoiding taxes right there. Not actually avoiding taxes because it's legal to do that, but it just shows that we need to rewrite the tax code. That's what this, in my opinion, that's what this main article is about, that we need to rewrite the tax code. Let's see. The estate tax is another thing that it mentions. So essentially, the federal government has a way of getting back some of its recouped money if you own a very large piece of land and you die. That land is then turned over to somebody, and the government collects a huge tax on it, like something like 40%. Like, it's massive. Well, a loophole around that is before that person dies, they just pass on the estate to somebody else, either in their family or a close by neighbor. No sale took place, so they don't have to pay taxes on the sale. And when they die, the deed or whatever to that land or that estate is with a new owner, and it just keeps appreciating wealth, and they do it all over again. They were talking about how the Walmart family, so in this estate tax part, they say they put that into like a trust, or they give the estate to somebody else, which allows the next generation to accumulate even more wealth. It says of the 25 richest people in America today, about a quarter are heirs. So the three Waltons who own Walmart, 2 are heirs of the Mars candy fortune, and 1 is the son of Estee Lauder. So this has been going on for a long time. We know now that you can give large sums to heirs without paying estate tax. Let's see, which is like kind of crazy. Now there is a big argument about invasion of privacy, and that's what a lot of people were saying, including the ultra rich when they were going to reply to the email that ProPublica sent them, giving them all the information, saying this is a huge invasion of privacy. Why are you doing this? ProPublica has said that the information that they have is so crucial to the public knowledge about how easy it is to game the federal tax system. How easy it is to game the federal tax system if you have billions of dollars. That outweighs the privacy concern. And in my opinion, I agree with them. I think that this just shows how everyone knew already that the mega wealthy didn't pay taxes. But now we have proof, and we know how they do it. The ProPublica report is super detailed. I mean, like, super detailed. It goes on to have like a little chart about wealth growth, and they say, let's go through this. So they say the federal government taxes the typical American household something like 14%. For many households, the rest of their income goes towards expenses every year, and a small amount will be left over for savings. A typical household might own a home, which often grows in value over time. such an asset would make up for the wealth growth of any given year. And it does like a little like side by side of like the taxes, the wealth growth, and the income. And then it compares the mega rich, right? So let's see. From 2006 to 2018, Jeff Bezos' taxes were about 21% of his income. But his Amazon shares skyrocketed in value in 2006, with the most wealth growth ever reported to the IRS. Between 2006 and 2018, Bezos' wealth shot up over $120 billion, while he paid minuscule proportion of that in taxes. Meanwhile, the typical American has paid more in taxes, or they've paid more taxes than they saw their wealth grow in that period of time, from 2006 to 2018. So it says, for every $100 of wealth growth over that period, the typical American paid about $160 in tax. Bezos paid $1.09. Just let that sink in. He paid $1.09 over that amount of years for every $100 worth of wealth growth in that time frame, 2006, 2018. For every $100, the normal American paid $160 on it. Bezos paid $1.09, and his wealth growth was like $4 billion or something crazy. What did it say? What did it say? I'm looking. I'm serious. $120 billion. His wealth shot up by $120 billion. His wealth grew $120 billion. And for every $100 that his wealth went up, he only paid $1.09 on tax. It's just so fucked, man. It's just so grotesque. It's so nasty. I'm trying to find this other chart here. Hold on, I'll find it. It's a chart. It's a nice chart. I like charts. I'll give you a good chart. I'll chart you out one, boy. Let's see. It's a chart comparing the top 5. Okay, so here it is. It says, let's see. From 2014 to 2018, wealth, income, and taxes for the 4 richest people in the world from 2014 to 2018. Warren Buffett, his wealth growth was $24.3 billion from 2014 to 2018. His total income that he reported was $125 million. Total taxes, $23.7 million. Now, it seems like a lot of money to pay in tax. But remember when I said true tax rate? His true tax rate, 0.10%. 0.10%. Amazon, Bezos, the Bezmeister, $99 billion his wealth grew in those 4 years. His total income he reported, $4.2 billion. The taxes he paid, $973 million. That seems like a lot. The true tax rate on that, 0.98. 0.98. Michael Bloomberg, his wealth grew $22.5 billion in those 4 years. His total income he reported, $10 billion. Total taxes on that he paid, $292 million. Okay, that's a lot of money. That's 1.30%. 1.30%. Elon. Wealth growth. What am I, 12? Wealth growth. 13.9 billion. Total income reported, 1.52 billion. Billion with a B. Total taxes paid, 455 million. Seems like a lot of money. Well, guess what? Tax rate, 3.27. Come on, people. We need to rewrite tax code. It's simple. Now, I don't know how you rewrite the tax code. I'm not a tax expert. But all I'm saying is, if a motherfucker's wealth grows by $24 billion and he only pays less than 1% of that in taxes, think of the revenue that the federal government could have if these grease balls just paid their fair share. That's all I'm asking. You know? But, I mean, come on. You should not be able, in my opinion, to have a Fortune 500 company that does numbers, right? Pay yourself a salary. That's fine. You own the company. Pay yourself a salary. Whatever. And if the salary you want to pay yourself is $70,000 because you know that you're going to make more money on your investments and your stock portfolio growing, then we need to tax that properly. We need to have the capital gains tax, which is the tax on when you sell a stock. We need to have it at when you purchase the stock or when you acquire the stock. It needs to start then and like aggregate up to it. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a tax expert. I don't know how this shit works, but it's broken. Clearly, it's broken. The most grotesque, I know I said that a lot. It's my new favorite word. The most fucked up thing that I saw in this report was in 2011, in a year where Jeff Bezos' wealth stayed steady. It didn't really grow that much, but it was still $18 billion. Bezos filed the tax return reporting that he lost money. His income that year was more offset by his investment losses, right? Like I said, if your investment losses are offset by your fake salary that you pay yourself, you can claim that you didn't make any money that year, so you don't pay any taxes. Strike one. Here's strike 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right off the bat. Because, according to tax law, he technically made so little that he claimed and received a $4,000 tax credit for his fucking children. What? You're trying to tell me my man's wealth grew by $18 billion in a year, but because his investments didn't make as much as his shitty salary that he pays himself, he was allowed to have a tax credit? Dog. With the amount of stock in Amazon that he owns, he could buy the state of Ohio. And you're trying to tell me that he gets a tax credit because he technically lost money? I want to cry. I really do. This is fucking crazy. I don't understand why no one else is talking about this. The mainstream media, I haven't seen shit about it. It's been all over the internet and a couple, little, lip service on the mainstream outlets, but no one's really talking about this. This is nuts. It's wild. I'm leaving that burp in. That's how wild it was. So here is another little graph that ProPublica has made. It compares Jeff Bezos' wealth growth to the typical Americans. And it has two lines, taxes and wealth paid. So from 2006 to 2018, Jeff Bezos' wealth grew $127 billion, and the taxes he paid total, $1.4 billion. A typical American household from 2006 to 2018, the wealth growth was about $89,000, and right where 2008 is, there's a huge dip below the zero line, below the start, because it says during the recession, many people lost value on their homes. So given that loss dip below the zero line from where they started at, it goes up to $89,000, right? That's how much their wealth grew. Well, in that time, the total tax, federal income tax that a typical American household would have paid is $142,000. So they paid more tax than wealth they grew. Tax code is supposed to be fair. The reason why our system works so well is because it's supposed to be a fair system, right? It's supposed to be, if you make more, you pay more. That's how that's how it's set up. The top tax the top tax bracket's 37%. That's how it stacks up, guy. But if you are above the top tax bracket, and you have multitudes of wealth in many different areas of the world, whether it be foreign bank accounts, different properties that you own, stocks, fancy cars, whatever it may be. If you have access to all that, you can leverage it, get loans to pay your bills, and make new investments, get crazy investment returns, but the company that you, quote, work for or own is only paying you $70,000, so you can get around all these taxes. And all your stocks that you use to buy things with your fancy stock credit cards, that skyrockets on a proportion, and you don't pay any money on it because you didn't sell the stock to anybody. It's just fucked. It's just fucked. It's literally just fucked.